In a dramatic turn of events that has left the world watching with bated breath, Madagascar's military has seized power, plunging the nation into a new chapter of political uncertainty. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this a coup or a necessary intervention to restore order? Let's dive into the details. On Tuesday, October 14, 2025, Colonel Michael Randrianirina, commander of the elite CAPSAT military unit, stood on the steps of the presidency in Antananarivo and declared that the armed forces were taking control of the country. His announcement came just minutes after the parliament voted to impeach President Andry Rajoelina for abandoning his post. Rajoelina, who had gone into hiding over the weekend, claimed he feared for his life following weeks of massive anti-government protests. In a social media address from an undisclosed location, he insisted he was still in charge, but the military's move seemed to seal his fate, at least for now. And this is the part most people miss. The impeachment vote, which passed with 130 yes votes and one blank ballot, went ahead despite Rajoelina's last-ditch effort to dissolve the lower house of parliament earlier that day. Meanwhile, a statement on the official Facebook page of the Madagascar presidency denounced the military's actions as a coup d'état, further muddying the waters of legitimacy. The crisis was fueled by what's been dubbed the Gen Z protests, led by Madagascar's youth. Frustrated by crippling water and electricity shortages, thousands took to the streets of the capital last month, demanding Rajoelina's resignation. NPR spoke to protesters who revealed they hadn't had running water in 6 years, despite paying for it. The United Nations reported that over 20 people were killed during the protests, with authorities accused of using deadly force. What's particularly striking is the role of the CAPSAT military unit. Over the weekend, they announced their support for the protesters, calling them our brothers, our sisters, and vowed not to suppress the demonstrations. This shift in allegiance likely emboldened the protesters and hastened Rajoelina's downfall. The president reportedly fled in a French plane, though this remains unconfirmed, while some of his officials are believed to have escaped to Mauritius. Madagascar, a former French colony in the Indian Ocean, is no stranger to political upheaval. Rajoelina himself rose to power in a 2009 coup, ironically with the help of the same military unit that has now unseated him. After that, he ran for election twice and won, but public sentiment has since soured. The 51-year-old leader has been criticized for poor governance, corruption, and failing to address the needs of the country's 31 million people. His attempt to appease protesters by dissolving his government fell flat. As they continued to demand his resignation, the military insists this takeover is not a coup, and some protesters agree. The army is the only neutral institution that can get us back on track, said Sariaka, one of the demonstrators. When asked if she'd call it a coup, she replied, "To me, it's a popular revolution supported by a military unit." Fenelo, a 21-year-old medical student, echoed this sentiment. "We are deeply relieved and thrilled by his removal. We are not oppressed anymore." He added, "I'm not concerned about the military seizing power because the current leadership is in good hands, especially since they plan to hand back power to a civilian government." But here's the million-dollar question. Is this truly a step toward democracy or the beginning of a dangerous precedent? While some celebrate Rajoelina's ousting, others worry about the long-term implications of military intervention in politics. What do you think? Is this a justified move to restore stability, or a slippery slope toward authoritarianism? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below.